Hello. My name is Mrs. Potter, and we're doing a Swirling Leaves Art Sparks today. And I said I'd make a video. We're going to use 3 techniques. This is what it looks like. The first step is to take your large sheet of paper and take your crayon, whatever color it is, and make some swirls. What we're trying to do is that we're making this look like the wind, and we're going to press pretty hard on this. You want to make sure that you're going to be able to see them because we're painting over these with the watercolor. Okay, that's the first step. When you have your enough swirls on it, you think, oh, that's enough wind for me, then you can stop, okay? Second step is to wet the side of the paper that you put the crayon swirls on. So you can go to the sink and do this. You're just going to put your paper in the water, find a waterproof surface to put it down on. You are going to get some paint wherever you put it on the edges. So you really might want to find a spot that your mom's not gonna say, why did you put that there? All right, and then you want to smooth it out, get some of the wrinkles out, okay? In your set, you have a little set of watercolors. You may choose any color you like. There is a tiny little brush in there. If you have a bigger brush at home, I would recommend getting a bigger brush. Make sure you have a cup of water. Watercolor is a kind of paint that only moves when you have water. So if you're going to use watercolor, put lots of water on it, and we're going to cover the whole entire paper. Make sure you use more than one color. It's beautiful. Watercolor loves to bleed. And so when you're doing this, you'll see because the paper is wet, you're going to get some awesome background, okay? So make sure you're getting plenty of water on your brush. Make sure those colors are blending in some way. And that is the second step. Hi, the next step is that we're going to leave this paper dry. Now you can do it 2 ways. It'll take about 20 to 30 minutes to dry on its own, or you could take a hair dryer and just dry it about 5 inches from the top, and then that would be done. But while you're waiting for that, what you can do is the next art technique, which is called printmaking. And we're going to be making the leaves on the Swirling Leaf project. Now, if you're really great at drawing, you can draw your own leaves. But some of us are not so good. And what we're going to do is you can find a leaf outside. It doesn't have to be colorful. It could just be a green leaf that's there. You could trace it. Now you need to think about this because what we're going to do is we're going to make a groove with our pencil or our pen, and that's going to be permanent. So when you're doing this, make sure that that's the leaf you want and that the lines you're making is one continuous line. Like if I were to trace this leaf right here, I'm going to take it and I'm going to loosely trace it. Doesn't need to be exact, okay? Looks like I might have room for another leaf here, but I'm not going to do that now. Now, this shape really doesn't look too much like a leaf. The way that we're going to make it look like a leaf is we're going to put on the lines on the leaf that make it look like a leaf. Those are the veins. We call those the veins. So I'm going to put a line down the middle. I kind of look at the leaf and say, oh, that looks pretty good. And I am making lines on that side. I'm making lines on this side. You can make them meet if you want. You can make them any way you want. But just remember, those are your lines for right now, okay? And see, I made another one here. I took another kind of leaf and also. Now, if you run your finger over here, you'll feel the grooves. Just make sure that those are deep enough. You don't want to press too hard, okay? We don't want to go through the styrofoam plate, okay? We just want to make sure that we're making that incise line, all right? That's the next step. Okay, the next step is to make the print. Now, you should have some markers at home, okay? We have watercolor markers. These aren't watercolor markers. These are just basic markers, and they will work. What you do is you color. It's like a coloring book. You color inside the lines, okay? Now, if you've looked at fall leaves, you know that sometimes they're not just all one color. And so you might want to take another marker. We want to do this fairly quickly, and the reason we want to do this fairly quickly is that we don't want it to dry. We don't want our marker to dry on here. Okay, and you can see I'm having fun just choosing colors that might be autumn leaves. Okay, and this is good enough. Okay, all right, and then you have some small sheets of watercolor paper. You're going to wet the watercolor paper, all right? And you're going to take that watercolor paper, you're going to put it over your drawing, and then, and you might want to plop it a little better on the thing. You can rub it with the back with your hand, or you could take a spoon, okay? And when you pull it up, there you go. My paper's a little bit wet. I probably don't want to get it that wet, okay? This is what it looks like if you only wet one side, all right? And then you can do the other leaf. You can use this over again by washing it in some water and then drying it with a piece of paper towel and then drawing on it again, okay? The last step in the swirling leaf project is after your paper is dry, you're going to cut out your print that you made and you're going to put it on your paper. And we're going to do that. You can do it with a glue stick. You could do it with tape. You could make tape rolls or put them on the back. Just make sure you get glue on all those parts. Remember the leaves are swirling, so you might want to make them go in different directions, okay? And you just smack it there. I've given you more than one sheet of watercolor paper make sure you use it all. Make sure you make a bunch of leaves. It'll look better that way. And then hang your piece somewhere in your house. It's going to look beautiful.